Welcome to the Leadership Spark podcast, where we equip you to be the great leader your people deserve. It's Hampton and Corey here, and today we're going to be talking about something that is extremely important for anybody. If you are somewhat new to a role, this is extra important. One thing that we see often and we hear from a lot of our customers is maybe someone gets promoted to a new role and you feel this pressure to immediately prove that the decision made to bring you into that role was the right decision. And so you start calling shots and making all these changes again to prove that it was the right decision to put you in that position. But there's a different way to show up, especially when you're new in a role. And really, it's always a good posture to have. And Corey's going to unpack it.
This comes from former U.S. Army General Stanley McChrystal. Probably don't know who he is, Hampton, do you?
Nope, no idea.
Right. So, but he revolutionized war back during the early 2000s. And so whenever war changed from conventional to being what it is today, you're dealing with a bunch of terrorists and you're cleaning house to house. They had to change the way they did war. And so he was asked to come in and step in and lead, basically be the top leader in the U.S. Army, really overseeing all the armies in this war that we had 15, 20 years ago. And so when he wrote a book called Team of Teams, which is a fantastic book. And he talks about this idea of listening, learning, and then leading. And so when I read this several years ago, it was really powerful in the sense of, like you talked about, whenever a new leader comes into a position, this is absolutely something that you should do. And we're going to talk about why that's important. But I think this is important for any leader at any time, is that your general posture, the way that we lean into situations, is to listen, learn, and then lead. And what I found is that when you do it in that order versus the opposite, which would be just go in and shoot your arrows and lead, and then you decide to listen and maybe learn at that point, well, you're probably listening to a bunch of people telling you that you did it wrong or telling you that it could have been done better. You're still listening, but if you do it in the right order, you can save you and your team a lot of time. And so you want to listen, you want to learn, and then you lead. And here's what I've learned about following this protocol is that if you listen and then you learn, your ability to lead becomes so much more effective. You can lead in a meaningful way. You can lead in an impactful way. You can solve the problems that really need to be solved without creating new problems for you or your team. And you can move a lot faster. And that was the whole idea from Stanley McChrystal whenever he's leading this army and leading this war, was that if you approach it this way, you actually can move a lot faster if you listen, learn, then you lead. And so whether you're a new leader coming in to a new team, a new organization, or you're just leading today in any capacity, I would encourage you to listen, learn, and then lead. I guarantee you'll be more effective as a leader if you do it that way versus the opposite. And so the go and do is pretty simple. Listen, learn, then lead. And if you do that, you'll be a better leader.